diving back in. We're just going to do some more practice problems. So my basic setup is I've got logs equal to something else. And so for this one, I'm going to choose option number 1 and change it back into exponential. Remember that you are dealing with a base of e. So the first thing I want to do is get it into a single log. So if it's subtraction on the outside, it's division on the inside. So I've got x plus 4 over x equals 2. And now I can do my little backward circle thing. So e raised to the second power equals x plus 4 over x. And now I've got x's all over the place. So I'm going to multiply both sides by x. So it'll reduce on the right and appear on the left. And then I'm going to get all my x's over to the left. So I'm going to subtract this one over. So e to the 4th minus x is 4. If you cannot combine these, then factor out what's common. So they're not like terms, so factor out an x. So x, if I factor that out, will give me an e to the 4th, which is a number, minus 1 is 4, and now divide both sides by this number. So x equals 4 over e to the 4th minus 1. So your decimal approximation will be, make sure you put your denominator in parentheses, otherwise the order of operations won't go right. So e to the 4th minus 1. So you should get 0.0746. So 0.0746 is your answer. And I did not start in log world. I did start in log world. So make sure that this does not go negative. So something that's really close to 0 plus 4 is positive, and then that's still positive there, so you're good to go. And I should have put a big fat star there. All right. So now I have an exponential. So e to the 4x plus 12 equals 14 to the e to the x, ex plus 3. So the first thing I notice is my bases. I'm in exponential world. This base is e and this base is 14. And I know base e. It's natural log. So I'm naturally going to start drifting that direction. Okay. So what I have now is I'm going to take the log of both sides, the natural log. So, and that's all that I mean by taking it is I'm going to make what's sitting there become the arguments. And now I'm going to drop the exponent out front. So that becomes a 4x plus 12 in parentheses times the natural log of e, because all I did was drop it out front, equals ex plus 3 times the natural log of 14. And that exponent that's now your coefficient needs to be in parentheses because it belongs to the whole thing. So remember that your base is e and your argument is also e. So this right here goes to 0. So he's gone. And on this one, I'm going to have to distribute. So on the left, I've got a 4x plus 12. And just remember, you're trying to get x by itself at this point. And this becomes e times x times the natural log of 14 plus 3 times the natural log of 14. So I've got 4 terms. This one, this one, this one, and this one. 2 of them have x's. So I need to get the x's on one side and the constants on the other. So I'm going to subtract 12 over to the left, and I'm going to subtract this term, over the right, and subtract this term over to the left. So that gives me a 4x minus this one, e natural log, x of 14 equals 3 natural log of 14 minus 12. And again, if I can't put these together, factor out an x. So I'm going to factor out an x. 4 minus e natural log of 14 equals 3 natural log of 14 minus 12. And now x is almost by itself. I just have to divide both sides. So 4 minus e times the natural log of 14. So that becomes my denominator. Remember, when you put this in your calculator, put that in parentheses. Put your numerator in parentheses, divided by, put your denominator in parentheses. And make sure you make that a closed argument. Otherwise, it's going to do 14 minus 12 instead of the natural log of 14 minus 12. So minus 12 is, and then divided by 4 minus e, natural log of 14. So I got 1.2865. 1.2865. And you did not start in log world, so again, you could sub in and make sure it is roughly the same thing, but you don't have to. All right, so we have, I'm moving around. All right, let's do 7 raised to the negative x minus 2 equals 722. So I'm in exponential world. I don't know base 7 off the top of my head, neither does my calculator. And I don't know 722 off the top of my head. So I don't care which log you use as long as you're consistent. Either use the natural log the whole time or use a common log the whole time. It does not matter as long as you're consistent. So out of habit, I always use the natural log, okay? Just because that's what, the further up you get in math, the more you like natural log. So now that I'm in log world, I can drop my exponent out front. And the whole point is I want to get to that x. So that becomes the natural log of 7 equals the natural log of 722. So I don't have to distribute that natural log of 7 this time. There's only a single x, and I'm trying to get it by itself. So how is the natural log of 7 joined to those parentheses? It is joined by multiplication. So I'm going to divide both sides by the natural log of 7. Okay? And then what do? I need to add 2 to both sides. And then I need to change the sign of everything. So this becomes a negative, and this becomes a negative. So I end up with a positive x is a negative natural log of 722 over natural log of 7 minus 2. So when you put that in your calculator, we're either using common logs or natural logs. You get 722 divided by natural log 7, and then minus 2 gives me a negative 5.3825. 5.3825. Okay, so and make sure you cannot combine these. Don't make that the natural log of 722 over 7. Okay, it's the natural log of 722 over the natural log of 7. So let's try another one. We've got 11 raised to the 4 over x equals 89. Again, I'm not familiar with base 11 or base 89, so use either log. I don't care as long as you're consistent. I like natural log, so I'm going to use the natural log. That allows me to drop my exponent out front so I can reach that variable. So I've got a 4 times the natural log of 11 over x, because it's 4 over x, equals the natural log of 89. And I'm trying to get x by itself, so I'm going to cross multiply. All this is a big fat fraction equal to a big fat fraction. So I have 4 times the natural log of 11 equals x times the natural log of 89. And now I can divide both sides by the natural log of 89. So natural log of 89, and there you go. So 4 times the natural log of 11 divided by the natural log of 89 is going to give you 21369. 21369. Okay? So just remember that these are numbers. The natural log of 11 is a number. Okay? Let's try e to the 2x minus 9 equals 130. And this time I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that I'm going to use natural log because I'm familiar with e. And that's going to actually make my life a little bit easier. So the natural log of both sides. So that allows me to drop my 2x minus 9 out front times the natural log of e equals the natural log of 130. Well, the natural log of e is 1 because his base is e and his argument is e. So now I need to add 9. So the natural log of 130 plus 9, do not make that 139. This is a number plus 9. And then divide both sides by 2. So I get the natural log of 130 plus 9 divided by 2 gives me 69338. 69338 is going to be that one. Okay? We're getting closer. I'm trying to do 2 more before we run out of time. All right, so 3 times e to the 4x plus 15 equals 15. Okay, so the first thing you should notice is that this exponent only belongs to the e. So get rid of that 3 before you do anything. So divide both sides by 3. So e to the 4x plus 15 equals 5. And now I can take the log of both sides, and that will allow me to reach the exponent. So 4x plus 15 times the natural log of e equals the natural log of 5. So all I did was grab that exponent and drop it out front. The natural log of e equals 1, because its base is e and its argument is e. So then subtract by 15 and divide by 4. So x equals the natural log of 5 minus 15 over 4 minus 15 over 4 gives me negative 3.3476. Okay, and that is your answer. And the last one is 2 times e to the 4x equals 117. So, good heavens, hang on, here we go, equals 117. So again, that 4x only belongs to the e. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So I have e to the 4x equals 117 over 2. And then I can take the natural log of both sides, drop your exponent out front. 117 over 2. Natural log of e is 1. And now you just have to divide both sides by 4. So that gives me x equals the natural log of 117 over 2. All of that over 4. 117 over 2 divided by 4 is 1.0173. 1.0173. And that is 7.5.